Astrostar starting Overdrive 16 on Royal Raceway in a mixed VR room. The included 4 to 6K VR players change its nature from electric to one-way drive forward. The same 3 people take turns with 5 blues in these rooms. Small play relaxed and not offensive, and won't sandbag because the shock might not be available to me due to low VR players permanently straggling with power items. Myself and Infi trade spots as our lines end many turbos desync. He might not red me, but I want to maintain defensiveness, so I'm passed slowly, because to fall behind early means I could end up pulling and using shock to catch back up. Now that's just uncalled for, but my fault for not checking the rear view. I got out of that habit after playing in these mixed VR rooms. Sandbagging now will result in my star being shocked out of me, since these low VR players are shock spammers. They struggle more to keep up, so they panic with their items. Ideally, I'm aiming for a golden to hold within lap 2 and early lap 3 because that shot demonstrates my point. I might not be able to pull a star, but if they stay close, I'll try. I'm not holding my breath. If you'll direct your eyes to the minimap, you'll see why sandbagging would hurt me and not help. The players are too far back. City Mach will separate backwards from funky front runners, so I can't win if I bag. I'm consuming my mushrooms because there will be too many shocks and blues for them to have any value beyond recovery, and they just want to keep close with the pack. Everyone will blow their items as soon as they pass that box, and nothing was gained that day. They're putting a lot of effort into picking the next spam blue, and what is it with Daisy players and using swerving tactics? Anyway, because I'm not interested in thunderclouds, I'm skipping this set while I enjoy sidestepping players' obvious triple green shell attack. Reading the map as I go, I determine that because 12th won't pass 11th with shock, he'll likely stay there and smash Halogen. But of course I failed to see Bernherde doing a sweeping wind-up in preparation for the turn, putting me in the grass. That shock brought the whole pack close together, so maybe I could reach a star by lap 3, but no matter what happens to me, I'm stuck in this 4th place limbo, and I'm not about to force a position change. Even with a red chasing me, I'm relaxed enough to let the item roll 5 seconds so I can cut with a thundercloud to the cannon. That way I can reduce slowdown time. I think most TC pulls are player fault knowing the conditions that pull them, so I risk where I can mitigate them. I watch for what items are in play, like build to see if I can take Cannon's Dread, from which I'll zoom past Bernherde's red. But it's hard to catch up to Funkyson first when the same player weaponizes their turn negotiation issues. Along with lots of players cycling through items, the shock spammers compel me to throw my blue shell. It's why we get so many blues in these rooms, and it's why I don't want to be in first until the last second. Diddy doesn't recover very well from blue shells. That red shell is a good way to draw back for a triple mushroom set, but the pack is thinning too much for more than 3 to pass me. At least that's what would have happened if I was not shocked and locked to 4th. Can't pull better than a blue to make up for the hit and put me in first, so I'll work with what the game gives me under pressure of the next shock, bumbling into rare opportunity where powers start passing me. I can couple the blue with the power and time it to hit the leader as he leaves the cannon, factoring in the blue shell slowing down inside it. You see how still bottom 3 have separated, so I'm working with odd item combos. I'll let C pass so I can safely drag my blue shell. I must skip the statue cut if I want this blue to hit because, again, blues slow down in cannons and I don't want him to dodge. I'll hold this star until I leave the cannon. I hope 10 through 12 don't get shocked because it's available again. It should have hit now, and because it didn't, I wonder if someone's holding it until after the cannon. The blue takes a while and I'm not in my star, but plans take patience to pull off. I decide to beat a highly unlikely shock on touchdown with instant acceleration over staying in 7th for a better chance of the golden. Triple mushrooms are good enough to carry me to the finish. Paranoid spammers might get ideas about shocking me in the off-road. Nevertheless, we're not winning this one. I know you're wondering why I didn't take the off-road patch. I thought this ceiling was in the off-road itself. It actually makes me a little mad because I've gone this whole time thinking this was undrivable. If I had taken it, I still would have finished 2nd. I investigated how drivable it was after I finished the commentary and felt like I wasted effort. I almost threw it away, but I'd have some of you to thank for reconsidering. As for the play itself, I should have thrown the blue right away so someone else draws one that hits Infi before the cannon. On that basis, this race didn't age well, but that's a 2020 hindsight nitpick about a 2018 race. Months later from it, VR Surge is partially restored. In turn, so are my gameplay habits as I readapt to higher level play. Away from a mixed VR luck course, to a weight festival taking place on CTR Cortex Castle, in which my main objective is to avoid shoving while not pulling thunderclouds. I wheelie straight because I'm always shoved at the first 2 turns of any given race if I take ideal racing lines, but taking a far box on a corner is damaging to my goal of keeping close. Players always trap the blind split path, but it's unlikely at set 1 because they can always be redded after backing 2nd when it's this crowded. Right after set 2 is an even narrower blind turn, and top 2 will be stocked up. Blue's banana gets me to stop expecting traps, dropping my guard to pull more spontaneously back green I was well lined up for. I expected blue to be hit, but he went toward the road center. I skipped that box because if I pulled a TC, I wouldn't be able to do shroomless cut. You know, if the target power didn't bump me out of the mini turbocharge, I would not have been flattened. Once you get split from the front, it's hard to come back on this running track. In situations like this, I look at the lead for perspective. I look at how far away they are relative to me. What items will I pull from here? Everything but mushrooms and pows is useless to me. Mid-pack, my item bulk will be triple mushrooms and TCs, which I'm not going to risk. The right people are cycling through items will just increase my chances, and my combo is too slow to handle that setback. Being TC'd wouldn't even put me far back enough to recover. Why would I take the chance if I won't even be hit? I'll avoid item pulls. The lead isn't an impossible distance thanks to the shock we just had. A chunk of racers in front of me were prone to absorbing a trap on these blind turns, so I didn't play too cautiously on either. Nobody's pulling TCs around me, which tells me those are some good odds had I not swerved away from the box back there. I'm keeping close without items, but I still plan to move up. Everyone's attacking each other, so for now, all I have to do is wait until it's safe to fill up my reserve. The spiral will slow the star down, but I'm about to take a risk on the crowded shroomless cut where I might end up getting swept overboard. In giving the star room, I see this will not end well. Enter Spam Shock, dodging the front runner in the cannon and the star. A first or second finish was just thrown out the window. At least now I can confidently use my slow speed to stop the roulette before the cannon in case I need to wash a TC off. Heart might back her triples at me, but so soon I didn't expect. Now that she attacked in plain sight, I know she'll throw them in the same way each time, but don't we all? She's only blocking lines. Next try anyway. I'm more worried about Red's full more control, but the corner should have me covered. As for my triple mushroom plan, they'll stay in my reserve for the race remainder, and, while preying on mistakes made by Heart, I'll overtake her at the last second. That was the idea until I decided to stay ahead of Fullmore rushing up behind me, because I get chucked off the side too often. In giving room to avoid lap one's mistake, I lose time on a bad trick. I'm counting on Fullmore and Hart to take a slow approach at the upcoming boost pedal. Fullmore wheelies right away to throw a bomb, and I'm begging for him to get out of my way. The AP member completely avoided the boost pedal, and Fullmore screwed himself over. They slowed down not quite as I had in mind. The rest is an easy trip to a third finish, only if no one cannon dodges. The set before the down spiral was the last one a room like this would pull from. The cluster behind me wouldn't go the long way for a box in front of the cannon, but Casper cannon dodged Blue while chaining his shock. Blue will catch up fast, but not fast enough. Nobody else was pulling thunderclouds during that race, so if I cycle through every box to get in front, like a spammy player digging for that one thing that would surge me to first, I might have pulled several thunderclouds. A player like me doesn't have the speed without items, but that's the game I play. For once I get an outside start, so I won't be shoved off my path, but I'll release Drift Spark so nobody rams me away from the ramp. Case in point, I survived the crossway spear. It's 150, so the second shortcut ramp will fall before I get there in lap 2. Already other players are shoving me with their wheelies, so I have to act fast so I'm not shoved into orientations I can't afford. I didn't hug the curve in case Top 2 dropped something in my path. I was charging up a Super Mini to haul over the trick ramp, but it would have collapsed on me if I did that. Meanwhile, it crumbles and carries Tugboat down with it. The blooper encourages me to drift wide out of caution for traps. Upon hearing triple shells, I continue leaning toward the outside to keep safe distance. In doing so, I give the lead to that Flame Runner, stopping short of drifting into Shane's trailed item if I wasn't already aware of that possibility. I was just getting warmed up to Snake. Everybody spun, but I guess they spam shock on a fireball. I'm not sure which direction to start my Snake with these two obstacles ahead, using this before the fire wheel brushes over me, hoping the resize would happen during the boost. Believing I eyeballed a clean path, a sudden fireball psychs me out as it phased through a wall. If you think of Super Minis like wheelies, I just lost that ability. Imagine a bike snaking. That's where I'm at, but I can't safely set that up with evenly spaced garbage. They couldn't bomb me if they aimed. Not even Bill could make me step into the blast. Now with the red, I'll gradually shed my bump shield so I can work on pulling Grim out of second. The red loop did that for me. Under normal circumstances, I would be opposing my drift to the inside for that SMT. That swamp comes down right where I need to be to set up a tight Snake. Would you look at that gap? It's too bad my red will break on everything sprawled about the map, but it's better to shoot where I think it has the best path than let him scamper across the line unchallenged by at least one of my reds. I believe even though he hit 2 consecutive fireballs, my red might follow through, but at this point, I concede second. There's nothing I can do about his trailed bananas. Considering the room type I'm in, I'd say I'm pretty lucky I ever separated from the pack at all because of my starting position. It's so easy to get trapped in that fireball section. One hit or bump results in you taking several fireball passes. I would have been forced to accelerate out if the pack was closer, calling forth the need to be hyper cautious. I was crippled with just one hit. starting in 10th on a clean straight with my slow combo shouldn't give me issues, but George, the Rosa to my right for no reason, must jump out of his wheelie and handle sideways while not boosting so I can catch up to him so he can put me to some crystals. And so, my typical racer enters me into the first conflict where Fake Out leads me boxless. Halogen Highway is the long game and a lot can happen in 4 minutes. The start of lap 3 is what matters. I start Goldie after the boost since everywhere else is covered in panels, and I want to cushion the wheelie drop. I drift so my bike doesn't let go of the hill crest. It'll give me enough room to charge a mini turbo on what's normally a shroom spot, and that's right here, where I bob around to change triple shells while using the panel to pad my line change. In what I thought was a safe line to his side, I confused Kirito's back shield for Shane's, then returning the shoves against a cluster gorilla avalanche, equaling the force as I drive up the sides in excess of the bumps. I'm made defensive, angled away from a good exit by choice, so I'm not sent on a wall climbing expedition. And psyched by a second-hand fake out. Items don't concern me as much as watching for anything back around these turns as shown by my reflective hop. All I need to do is keep up while they attack each other and take the third box for me, why don't ya? However, I don't need defensive things after the set we just passed. I'm not dodging Billbud, cutting a corner since it's faster to take a mini turbo around a more direct path. Kirito bites it at the ramp while Flary's Bill stopped up against the wall, and just like that, the ramp shuttled me into third by spasmodic item waves consisting of enough power to let those who can't get them slip by. And after the no-stick road steers numbers overboard, I throw it a chance to move up an additional spot to make my red count for 2 spots gained. A whole lap without a single attack in my name, yet gained after second. It's just when I get something to hold on to that Kirito trips it off me. Lucky for him, he didn't shroom into what might have been a target shock attempt. I'd like to keep what I pull. I see you, Tonfist, lunging into a standing red. Now I wait for first to take a blue shell so I don't have to. To do that, I gotta pull George back to play the waiting game in the safety of second where I intend to stay until lap 3. Safe until Anarchy spontaneously builds me into third right in time to give me a thundercloud. I can't stop to pass this on the panels, though I'm searching for a dead body behind the slope without actually expecting one there. I thought I could shrink on the panel, but happening on the far curve puts me in the mind to just make this turn tight, as bikes seem to take it wide, turning my focus rearward on not getting kicked from behind. I couldn't see the Rosa appearing from nowhere to just take my boxes again. Who knows? He might have spared me another thundercloud. With Kirito and Flary keeping Wim's attention off of me, I assumed no trouble hugging the curve, but if he wanted to back one my way, it would work better without a box to his left. Picture this dry bone swerving into me like Bernhardt, and you'll understand why I blow my triples on the water. I thought I could slash him with his curve hug, but he's canceling my effort with the golden. His drift overcorrection isn't severe like Bernhardt's, but I wanted to beat him before he had the chance to overcorrect his drift into my wheelie. I got a little impatient there and wound up botching the turn, focusing more on him than my lines, just not to my complete detriment. In the interest of moving up, I can't hold the triple mushrooms I'm about to pull, so I use them on all the spots without panels, especially while cornering, where most of the time is spent at normal top speed, and where I leaned wider just in case somebody tucked a trap on the turn. I planned using the last at the shroom spot leaving the city, but unsticking forced me to use it one corner early, Flary attempting to supply me bananas. Something will hit somebody on the left, putting me in second, the easiest position to hold, and no one can pass me for all maxing out wheelies. Can't say the same for first as the blue streaks across the sky for Anarchy! He might recover on the end of the panel, but that is never the first blue of the race, and it's never the last, so he volunteers me for the next one, believing I'd slam him up the pipe edge? My wheelie exit is too indirect to be as fast as I need to be. To stay in first after the blue, I'll increase my distance from second with attacks after judging the path of these targets. I rarely back items so they don't expect it, so rarely that I start firing buttons quicker than I can get out of the software to send the shell back in time to stop Shane from overtaking from just this blue shell! Cancelled by the shot! He's setting up a mini turbo to take along the pipe edge, but I think I can gain by taking the stream small. The challenge will be to hold my lead against his speed and weight as close as he'll be on the sketchiest turn, where he'll catch up and shove me over. My resize puts me at the distance where that can happen. If I hug, air pockets could wall me, but once I come unglued, I choke to a bad line on which I must commit every slam. When it matters most, get owned! The minimalist monkey clutches victory from Mama's heavyweight hips of defeat, and not a sneaky thundercloud could injure my race beyond repair. Best win and race of the session, for sure. Now, what was so bad about that last turn? I was avoiding this. He should have caught up after I unstuck, but I think the same thing happened to him. I expected him to be a pixel out of my camera view, but when he wasn't, I couldn't tell how close he was. I thought if I corrected by hugging, he would slam me over from the right. It was nearly self-fulfilling. About that pipe strap. It's a slightly faster, more direct path to the ramp by skipping the end of the stream, but apparently not for the reasons I thought. And based on this well-shrunk, I figured if Shane hugs the curve, his reduced mini-turbo wheelie wouldn't have the strength over the relatively longer distance I'm traveling on the stream, so it would be faster for me. Too bad I didn't know the stream cut off. It only benefited me because he drove off the moving portion too soon. Enough with these sneaky custom track features already. 2 in 1 video, come on! With that, thank you for watching OVERDRIVE!